Today I want to talk about how Americans hang out with each other, which is not through appointments as often, and why I think it's pretty awesome. So one of the big mysteries I want to tackle, and I talked about this in my last video as well, is why are Koreans generally sadder than other people in developed countries? I understand if a country has a population of people who are very sad because that country is very poor, because it's hard to get to a doctor, because you're sick, because family members are dying due to a war, or because family members are dying due to not being able to get certain antibiotics and certain medicine that is readily available in developed countries, but they can't get their hands on. Things like that, I understand. But why are Korean people sad? It's a very rich country. You guys have health care. Most people generally live in like a house or something. You're not living. If you're living in the streets, I understand why you're sad. But Korea's a rich country. It doesn't have a huge poor person population necessarily, especially compared to a really poor country. So how is it that Korean people are sad? And when I pose this question to my Korean friends, oftentimes they will say either work or stress. Korean people work a lot, okay? They do, I understand that. But it's not an inordinate amount. Maybe it's 10 hours a day. That's a lot. But I have plenty of American friends who work 10 hours a day, and they're not as sad as Korean people are. And also, work's not in your control, so you shouldn't dwell on that so much, right? And then there's stress, which is something that you can alleviate through different tactics, different methods. It's almost in your control, but those two things I'll leave for another video. But the point is, that's the general idea, is that stress and work is what makes Korean people generally sadder than other people in other developed countries. And I don't think it's that. I think it's the relationships Korean people have with other people, with their friends, with their boyfriends or girlfriends, or even with their family. Now, I don't want to talk too much about family because I've never been in a Korean family, and maybe I'll make another video about that. But right now, I want to talk about how we hang out with our friends. Last video, I talked about how Korean people hang out with yaksok, by making these appointments with all their friends. And the main reason I thought that was bad was that because it makes your friendship into this kind of burden. It makes you treat your friends the same way as you would like a co-worker or something, right? And my idea is you want your friendships to be friendly. You want them to feel like friendships. I don't think this burden is something you're consciously thinking about, but I feel like deep down inside, it makes your friendships feel less friendly, which sucks. So right now in this video, I want to talk about how Americans make our appointments, or how we hang out with our friends. And I'm going to show you right now, okay? Be ready. Beep, boop, boop, beep. No, nobody dials the phone anymore. But beep, boop, boop, boop. Hello, friend? No, we don't call our friends friend, but whatever. Friend, you want to hang out today? Yes? Okay, let's meet at that bar at 6 p.m., blah, blah, blah. Okay. Done. Or sometimes you call up, beep, boop, boop. Hey, friend, you want to hang out? No? Okay, fine. Try another friend, right? It's super simple. And I feel like in Korea, often it's you got to kakao talk them for 30 minutes. Be, oh, hey, man, oh, where have you been up to? Oh, I've been up to nothing. How are you doing? 힘들어. 나도 힘들어. Oh, we're all 힘들어. Oh, but I haven't seen you for so long. You want to try a new blah, blah. And then you have to do 30 minutes of bullshit. And then finally you make this appointment for 3 weeks in the future, 4 weeks in the future, 5 weeks in the future, whatever. So you have to make this big schedule. And that kind of sucks because of what I said before. So what are the good things about the way Americans generally hang out with their friends, which is quite instantaneous? Number one, it alleviates that feeling of like, this is a burden, this is like a business appointment, this is something I don't want to be a part of. It makes us feel more friendly. Number two, it allows us to hang out when we really want to hang out. And number three, it allows us to hang out with the people we actually kind of want to hang out with more. But like I talked about, what I was talking about when I talked in my last video about making these appointments and having your friends feel like a business obligation. Obviously that's gone because we're not doing that. So it makes our friendships feel really friendly. I don't treat my friends the way I do my dentist. My dentist I have to make an appointment with. My friend I go, hello, you want to hang out? Yep, okay. Done. It makes it feel a lot more friendly, like we're not doing something so terrible. Number two, I think this one is kind of counterintuitive. It's not what you think. In my last video, some people were saying in the comments, like, we make these appointments as because we're so busy and because our friends are so busy that it's a courtesy to our friends, and it's a way that our friends are courteous to us to make a schedule so that we can hang out at the most convenient time. But actually you're not, and here's why. You don't know exactly when you feel like hanging out. Sometimes it's Saturday and I didn't do anything that Saturday. I just want to hang out with my friends. I want to hang out with my good friends. I just want to call them and go, hey, you want to hang out? The problem is, in Korea, those friends are often already busy because they already have some appointment they made with somebody else. So I can't just call someone up all of a sudden and hang out. I mean, you can, but you have to go through a list of people, and sometimes you really can't, and it's a pain in the ass, right? In America, where almost nobody has some other prior engagement, some other appointment they made with somebody else, you can hang out with whomever you want, whenever you want. Maybe not whomever you want, whenever you want, but you have a big group of people you can hang out with whenever you feel like it. So that's great. Also, I know this must have happened to every Korean person when you've made an appointment. You make an appointment and it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then the day you're supposed to meet them, let's say it's Saturday. Saturday comes around and you had to come into work in the afternoon. You had you broke up with your girlfriend 2 days ago and you're feeling like shit. You drank on Friday night and now you really don't want to do anything. You just feel like playing video games. Okay, you don't want to do any of that stuff. Whatever the reason is, all of a sudden Saturday comes around and oh shit. Oh, I gotta hang out with Do-hyun today. Oh, I don't want to though. And you end up hanging out with a friend when you really didn't want to. And sometimes that's good because just getting out of the house and forcing you to do something makes you feel better. And I have a whole nother video about that. But sometimes because of this, you end up canceling the appointment. Now, I rarely cancel an appointment with my friends because I think it's extremely rude, in my opinion. But then some of my friends will do it to me, and I know the reason why. And then they just kind of tell you like 3 hours before, oh, I have bad condition today. As a joke me and my other foreigner friends always make about Korean people, which is bad condition is everywhere. So it's just bullshit, right? I mean, sometimes maybe someone does really feel sick. Let me also say bad condition doesn't make any sense in English. We don't say bad condition in English. I guess the best translation would be like, I feel shitty. I'm feeling kind of bad. But whatever, so then like they give you this excuse and you know it's a lie. And that's what makes it even less like a friendship, because now you have friends who are lying to you, or maybe you're even lying to them, and that feels like shit. So I don't want to lie to my friends. With no appointments being made, I don't have to lie to them. I mean, sometimes I might have to lie to him. My friend calls up, he's like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? I really don't feel like it. No, I don't feel like it. And he's like, no, but come on, we got to. I go, no, I don't want to. No, come on. And I go, dude, like, I broke my toe or something, right? There's sometimes, I guess, where we have to lie anyway. But it makes it so we don't have to lie. And it makes it so we can just kind of hang out at the spur of the moment when we feel like it. Finally, not making any appointments, it allows us to hang out with the people we really want to hang out with more than hanging out with the people we don't want to hang out with that much. And here's how. Actually, a lot of times I explain this to my Korean friends and I ask them about this, which is, I think in America, we end up with a smaller group of friends and we're closer to them because we end up hanging out with them more and more. In Korea, I feel like you often got this huge list of friends. You got like 3 or 4 or 5 Kakao chat groups that are like your high school friends and your college friends, your middle school friends, and you were in some running club for 2 years, and you have those friends, and you guys are arranging all these meetings, and you kind of just cycle through this list of friends. Every 3 or 4 months, you go like, oh, 오랜만에, and then you have to hang out with them. The problem is with this is that it puts the people who are your really good friends, you kind of, I think, you often end up shuffling them in there too. So instead of hanging out with people that you really like more often, they go into your list of friends, and then if they try to talk to you, you go, oh, no, like I met you recently, and I've already made this appointment with this other guy. The only way you can end up making appointments and hanging out with one person more than others is if you're constantly making appointments with them, which I feel like doesn't happen as much, right? In America, because I don't have to make any schedule, whoever I want to hang out with, which is usually the people I like more, I can just call up that day and figure it out. When you live in a country where you're constantly cycling through friends, it's a lot harder to hang out with them. It's a lot harder to hang out with the people you like because you're already busy with the people you kind of have an obligation to. Your old running friends from a running group that you don't really like that much, but you're obligated to hang out with them every 3 or 4 months. And then you can't make the time for the people you really want to hang out with, like your really good friends, more often. So you end up, I think, because of these yaksooks, hanging out with people you don't like that much because it's an obligation, and not forming the close and really good friendships that you do want to make with the people that you do really like. So for all these reasons, number 1, with no appointment, you get to hang out with people you really like. Number 2, with no appointments, you get to hang out when you really like, and you don't have to lie to your friends about canceling appointments because you don't feel like it that day. And finally, I also like it because we don't have that weird burden and duty and obligation that you feel when you make an appointment with somebody, because making appointments is really something that doesn't feel that friendly. It's really something that feels like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. So if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate my video, give it a big fat thumbs down. If you love me or if you hate me, subscribe. I think the button's like right now, right there. Maybe it's not there on your phone. Whatever. Subscribe. Please leave a huge amount of comments. A lot of the stuff, what I'm saying is not scientific fact. Okay, I'm not proving math theorems. Okay, these are not facts. These are opinions. This is an op-ed. If you disagree, tell me that you disagree and tell me why. You don't need to be a dick about it, but I guess you can if you want. If you agree, tell me you agree and tell me why. If it's a little bit of both, maybe you agree 80% or you disagree 20%, or maybe you think I just missed something completely. Please tell me, because then I can read it and then maybe I'll make another video about that. Maybe I want to make more response videos where I read what you guys said and I can make a video about why I agree with what you guys said or disagree with what you guys said. I really like the idea of the comments being a whole other entity where people can have open thoughts and open expression and talk about things like that. So please leave comments. Last, have a super awesome day.